Think about the ongoing war in Ukraine, global trade tensions between the US and China, or international cooperation on climate change. Are these events driven by the pursuit of power, by institutions and rules, or by shared ideas and identities? The answer depends on the lens you use to study them. In international relations, those lenses are called theories, and today we'll explore three of the most influential: realism, liberalism, and constructivism. Welcome back to the Learning Studio. You're watching our political science series, and today we begin our international relations section with an essential foundation: theories of international relations. We'll see how realism, liberalism, and constructivism help us make sense of global conflict and cooperation. And don't forget, in our next episode, we'll focus on global governance and international organizations. From the United Nations to the World Health Organization, we'll examine how collective action addresses global challenges like climate change, pandemics, and trade. Realism: power rules the world. Realism argues that international politics is a struggle for survival in an anarchic world, meaning there is no global government to enforce order. States act primarily in their self-interest, seeking power and security above all else. War and conflict are seen as inevitable because mistrust between states never disappears. Example: the Cold War is a classic realist case where the US and Soviet Union constantly balanced power to avoid domination by the other. Liberalism: cooperation is possible. Liberalism takes a more optimistic view. It argues that states can cooperate through institutions, rules, and shared interests. Democracy, trade, and international organizations reduce the chances of conflict by building trust and interdependence. Example: the European Union and the United Nations reflect liberal ideas that cooperation can prevent war and create prosperity. Constructivism: ideas shape politics. Constructivism shifts the focus from power and institutions to ideas, norms, and identities. It argues that the way states act depends on how they see themselves and others. For example, the US sees the UK as an ally, but North Korea as a threat, even though both have militaries. Culture, ideology, and historical narratives often define international relationships more than material power alone. Example: the spread of human rights norms shows how ideas can change state behavior over time. Why theories matter. Realism warns us about power struggles. Liberalism shows the potential of cooperation. Constructivism reminds us that perceptions and identities are just as powerful as weapons. Together, these theories give us a toolkit to analyze world events from different angles. The lesson is this: there is no single truth in international relations. Instead, theories give us frameworks to interpret complex global realities. Sometimes realism explains events best, sometimes liberalism, and sometimes constructivism. Often, it takes all three to understand the full picture. And that's today's lecture on theories of international relations, the lenses that help us see why nations fight, trade, or cooperate. In our next episode, we'll shift from theory to practice with global governance and international organizations. How do institutions like the UN, WHO, and WTO step in where states fall short? And can they really solve global problems like pandemics or climate change? This is the Learning Studio, where learning never stops. See you in the next episode.